All right, welcome back everybody to the Tradewaiters podcast, the comic book club where we read a different trade paperback every single week. I'm Daniel and you're Nathan. We're brothers. We read comics.
We out here. What's going on?
We out here reading.
Yeah, we are. Sometimes.
Looking at paper.
Looking at so much paper.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about comic books, baby. Talking about money.
Yeah, I got stacks on stacks of comics. Of unread books.
Do you have more comics in this house than you have dollar bills in your bank account?
Absolutely.
Okay, me too.
Do I have more than 19 books? Yes, I do.
No, I'm talking about like single comic. Oh, you're saying $19 in your bank account?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wish I had that much money.
Yeah, true.
I would trade every book I have for $1.
For $1.
So that I could feel like financially stable.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I could buy a nice dinner.
Yeah.
No, I think I have comics. How much is like 7 long boxes worth?
I feel like there's like maybe like 100 in a long box, right?
I think there's like 300 in a long box.
300? Yeah, maybe.
So like $2,100. We're gonna go with that.
Dang, yeah. I
can get one really expensive graded comic. Trade all those in just to buy a graded comic I can't read.
Yeah, you can get like
a 9.8 like Beta Ray Bill first appearance.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
How much did they say for that Moon Knight first appearance at that one?
Oh,
at Comic-Con?
I saw like a 7.5, I think, and it was like $1,200. So I think a 9.8 would be like a lot more.
Yeah, probably.
So I probably couldn't do that. Maybe like an Iron Fist first appearance, but I don't know.
Anyway, we got different time codes in our description.
Yes, sir.
We got the book, which is the Hedge Knight. We got Back Minor Matters in the poll list, but we start with the news.
The news. What do we got for news, Daniel?
Nathan, you like distillery comics?
Yeah, I like fucking distillery. Tell me about them.
Yeah. Well, there's a new fucking book coming by Chip Zdarsky, David Brothers, and Marcus something.
Yep.
I don't know.
Did we say this last week? Or was it about a week ago that it came out? That the news came out?
I think it was about a week ago. But it's a book called Time Waits.
Yes.
And that'll be coming at some point.
That's pretty cool.
The fall, probably.
Yeah.
That's cool. The Chip's getting on the distillery wagon.
Yeah, I think that'll be pretty cool. I think they need to get away from like all of them being magazines. I think that was like a pretty cool thing they started out. Or maybe everybody likes to do that. And they're the only ones that are willing to do it. But
it's weird that they're all in like 3 issues.
Yeah.
And then that's like the trade. You know? So is it like
agree. Are they not going to do like long form stuff?
I guess not. And that it's kind of interesting, but it's also kind of like a Dark Horse model, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's more true to like that brand if they just stick with the magazine style.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, like, you know, when you think of distillery, you think of, you know,
those big books,
self-contained books, and they're very wide books,
easy to jump into. Yeah, I guess that's kind of what they're going for,
which I think is cool. And I think what I would probably do if it were me, you know, like trying to start like a new,
like how do we be different?
Publisher?
How do we be like Image used to be, where you could just kind of like pick up anything and it'd be fine?
Yeah, and if like you know you didn't catch this, you know, Becky Cloonan thing, then you can just wait for the trade, or you know, you'll keep an eye out for the Chip thing that comes out. You know? So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, Time Waits, I think is what it was called, right? So
hope it's a time travel book because I can't get enough of those for some reason.
You're liking those right now?
Yeah. Well,
nice. Just
in general, I always kind of liked them. You know?
Yeah. Daniel James Herron is coming back to his hit kaiju series Ultra Mega, which is coming back in September for his second arc.
Yeah, issue number 5.
Cool. Issue number 5.
That first issue came out, or that first run came out in like 2021, I think
so, yeah.
So he's been sitting on this. I think this one's going to be like a triple-sized issue or something.
Whoa, that's so many pages.
It's going to be like 70 pages.
So much blood. We should read that first one. It's cool.
Yeah, probably.
First arc. And, you know, Rafael Grampa, the guy that's on Batman Gargoyles of Gotham?
Yeah.
He posted a picture with Keanu Reeves on Instagram. I think they know each other because he was doing a lot of the variants for Berserker.
Yeah.
And they are doing something together. And he said almost 3 years of work and a new universe was created from scratch. And so they have something coming out. pretty
More
soon.
Berserker, probably.
Probably more Berserker. There's like 2 different sequel series for that, I think. But I don't think all of them are Keanu Reeves, so I don't know.
Is it possible that there could be too many comics by a celebrity?
No.
So you'd be cool with, like,
I mean, if he likes him.
If you're cool with there being like 10 Keanu Reeves books,
Yeah.
where he's like the co-writer or whatever.
Yeah, it's fucking
But
awesome.
what if they're all have like a main character that's just him?
That would be a little bit cringe.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta
He's
understand.
like, one of these will pick up.
I can understand how, like, Berserker is him, you know, and he's like, I have this idea and I think it's kind of cool, but I couldn't get it made into a movie or whatever, but I wanted to star in it. Like, I can understand how, you know, he could tweak that. I don't know if that's what Berserker was originally meant
He's
to
just
be.
making
but
investments,
yeah,
you know, so
I
he
think
can
so.
still have roles in the future.
I think any celebrity that's big enough to bring people into comics could write comics
Yeah.
for as long as they want. As long as, like, you know, they have that stature and that, and it seems like they're genuinely putting an effort in, then I think it's fine.
What I worry about is, like, I think it might be kind of like how podcasts are. Like, there's people who like do podcasts, and then there's like celebrities who start podcasts, and then they're just instantly popular because they're like celebrities already.
Yes.
And it kind of drowns out the rest.
I think the only reason that wouldn't happen in comics is because podcasts can make money.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, like, comic books really make the money to make it worth it for a celebrity unless they were just, like, really into comics.
I don't know.
Because you could, like, sell ads and stuff on, like, podcasts that celebrities are on, you know?
Didn't Berserker have like a shit ton of issues sold, like #1?
Yeah, a ton.
Yeah. So
But
just like recreating that over and over.
I think it's a lot harder to like make it good at the same time, or at least good enough to be like,
The only advantage is like
Marketable.
they need people in comics
yeah, they need,
to do this.
yeah, and they need to, like, pay them a certain amount. It's still, like, a big risk, whereas a podcast is just like, well, let me show up, you know, I don't really have to invest a whole lot of money necessarily,
And then talk.
and then talk. Yeah, I mean, they have to, like, get cameras and stuff or whatever, but that's, I mean, you could get a pretty good studio for, I imagine, like $5,000 or something, and you can make that back in one ad. So it's like,
A podcast studio?
yeah,
We did it in like $100.
when we started, it was nothing. It was we just brought the shirts on our backs,
Yeah.
and my shitty laptop microphone, I think.
We were just talking to our phones.
Yeah. And we were like, wow, Batman's pretty cool, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
The pod had like no structure.
So I think most celebrities don't even really think about comics that much. So I don't think, you know,
I'm okay
whatever
when
Keanu
it's,
Reeves is doing is gonna, you know,
I'm okay
be on
when
the
it's
radar.
like a Patton Oswalt or like a Kevin Smith or whatever who like
They're in it for the
grew
game.
up with it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. Like it's not like a money making kind of
Or there's
thing.
that one dude, I think his name is Danny Earls, who's like a professional soccer player, and now he's like a kick-ass artist. Have you seen that guy?
Nah.
He's on
Danny Earls?
He's like big on Twitter because Becky Cloonan found him, and she's like, wow, this guy's fucking huge, and he was a soccer player. It's kind of cool. And then Danny Earls was like, hey, thanks for that. Now I think he's going to be on Batman or Daredevil at some point.
I gotta check out his stuff, and if I like it, I'm getting his jersey.
It's really good.
I don't care.
Well, I don't know about his soccer. I don't know him from that. But
yeah, it's probably like
but
he's
he's
probably
done, like-
wasn't like Premier League or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
he's done like some covers, and now I think he's like officially on something, but hasn't come out yet. So
yeah, because like I feel like anyone thinks that they can write, you know, and they'll like write a comic if
yeah,
they want.
And they're like, I
But,
got an
like,
idea.
Not everyone can like draw.
Yeah, that
and
like draw well to be like, holy shit, look at this
to
guy.
be like a sequential artist.
yeah,
and
I'm gonna
but
look
they're
up-
not famous from that.
yeah. I'm gonna show you one of his things real quick.
Cool. I'll talk about other news and then more like, you know, screen news, not necessarily paper news.
Sure.
But we got a trailer for Venom: The Last Dance.
Oh yeah. I saw a little bit of it.
I saw it. I didn't listen to it. I was like in an airport, and so like I didn't like listen
Okay.
to it or anything.
So
I don't know if it's a musical or not.
I think I saw parts of the trailer as well. I saw the horse. Did you see the horse?
A horse. No,
There's a symbiote horse.
that's cool.
And I'm like, what a silly little movie this has become.
Yeah, I saw like some alien bugs or something. That's
Yeah.
about it.
This is that artist. I'll send you this, but it's like a TMNT cover that he did.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
that's
this guy.
sick.
He's like a professional soccer player, or
Fuck
was.
yeah, dude.
Not currently.
Isn't that going to be a variant?
It's gonna be one of the variants. Yeah,
That's cool.
I forget. He posted at some point what team he was on, but yeah.
Dude, Ultra Mega, there's going to be a Mike Mignola variant. And it's like a ratio variant, like a 1 to 10.
Is he drawing a big old kaiju?
I don't know. They didn't show it,
Oh,
so
okay.
once it gets closer to September 18th,
That'd be
when
sweet.
it comes out, then we'll be able to see it.
Nice.
I don't know what it is about like variants, like when they come out, that get me so excited. But like if I see them later at like a con or somewhere, or on like my comic shop, I'm like just not interested anymore. It's something about like that's the one that you got when you're reading this book.
Yeah.
Now, and collecting them after the fact like doesn't interest me for some reason. Does that make sense?
I don't know what you're saying.
Like you go
You're
to
saying
you
you
go
don't-
to the shop, you
you
see Ultra
care
Mega
about them-
5, you get the Mike Mignola one because that one's the coolest.
Oh, but like you're saying later on, you don't really care about.
yeah,
later
if I miss
variants.
it or just get the cover A, I'm not gonna like hunt it down after the fact kind of thing.
I think the only time I would care about it after the fact is if it was like something like those hip hop variants or whatever.
Oh yeah,
That are, like,
I want
pretty
those
cool.
desperately.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
I saw my Moon Knight one when I was organizing my comics and I looked up the price of it, dude. It was fucking up there.
Yeah,
couple
I
hundred.
kind of just want like there's like a trade that's out of print, but it's like all the covers like in a trade though.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
in a paperback, but like it's like super expensive because
Also, why would they never do that again? I don't understand. Like, I think clearly that was a success, and they probably know that.
I want like a metal variant, dude. That'd be
Yeah.
sweet, or just like kind of
Yeah,
hair
yeah.
metal, rock and roll kind of thing.
We talk about this a lot. I feel like.
Yeah.
But
I'll get started on it and just like
I'll write them an email or something. Maybe be like,
what
"Hey, do
the
this
fuck,
again."
dude?
Maybe I wonder if there's like, surely there's not like a licensing thing that they did for all of those,
No.
right? Because there's like a couple dozen
It's like
hip hop variants.
it's like a parody,
Yeah.
and so that they can get that's
yeah, they can
parody
get
is
away,
like a
they can get away
loophole
with it.
for copyright and shit.
Yeah. Anyway, I understand what you mean though. Like, I don't really care for many variants unless it's clearly like super cool. But I think if I'm hunting something down, I have an idea in my mind that like I'm getting the cover A because that's the thing I'm hunting for.
Remember when like variants were like the expensive things? And
They
that-
still are.
like not even like when you buy them at the store, but like those are the ones that like went up in value for some reason.
Oh yeah.
And now it's like
I don't understand how
just
that works.
and now it's just the cover A's that go up in value,
Yeah, I guess
which is weird.
if there's, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
So you're excited for Venom?
No. I think it looks silly. Like, I think they're making this more of a comedy than the rest of them.
What's so funny is like I had the utmost respect, not that I don't anymore, but like for Tom Hardy and how much I just like thought his career was so cool, and he just had like all these like hits after hits. He was just in all these good movies.
What, like
And then-
Batman and then like,
Yeah, Batman, and then he was in like Inception and
Yeah.
shit, and he was in like Legends,
Mad Max.
So he was like on top of it, and then
He was in
spent,
that
like,
one spy movie, remember? With Chris
Oh.
Pine? Is that what it was?
This Means War.
This Means War.
Yeah,
That was a bad movie. but he was in that.
I remember thinking it was all right.
I remember thinking he was a cool spy.
Yeah, and so it's like, and then he spent like last like 8 years like being Eddie Brock, and I
Is it-
still don't buy him as Eddie Brock.
I don't either. It
Yeah.
like doesn't fit.
Yeah, I'm like
At all in my head.
that's Tom Hardy
This is Tom Hardy with a
getting
symbiote
all
on him.
goopy. Yeah,
They should reveal that it's just been Tom Hardy the whole time or something. Like, because I don't know. I don't see him as Eddie Brock. But
because I think his American accent isn't convincing to me.
no, he sounds like
Yeah.
he sounds like he's trying to be a nerd,
Yeah,
or like what somebody would make an impression of a nerd.
he like
doing.
looks like a tough guy, and his voice is like a tough guy voice.
It doesn't match.
So when he isn't doing that, it's like weird.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway,
What else we got, Daniel?
Nathan, in other news, there's going to potentially be a 300 show
Cool.
going to Max, I think, potentially produced and or directed by Zack Snyder. It'd be a prequel
Oh,
to the 300 movie.
okay. Didn't they do a prequel movie?
There is that other one, and
$2.99?
I think that's yeah. No, there's a sequel, 301.
Okay, they got one more guy.
Yeah, and I don't know if that did well, but and someone else directed it and whatnot.
hmm
But that's
Actually,
all I
if it
got.
was 301, that would mean that they got 300 more guys, and then they one upped what's his
Yeah.
face and got one more. Because
They're
I
like-
think
they're
they
like-
all died.
They like
so-
miscounted.
Yeah.
They're like, shit, we got next one.
shit.
Yeah, it's fine. No one will count.
Daniel, Weapon Extraction is a new book from Marvel Comics. This coming this summer. It's going to be
Why
drawn
do I
by some
care?
of the industry's most talented artists and inspired by Deadpool and Wolverine. I guess it's like a Deadpool and Wolverine type book, but the writer's going to be Ryan North with artist Javier Garrón. So
interesting.
It begins in Incredible Hulk 14 and continues through August, running across 8 titles as a bonus backup tale. Ooh, I don't like that. Never mind. Bad news. Bad news. I just caught that. That's funny.
Don't bring that bullshit here again.
Yeah. Daniel, Ryan Stegman's going to be in Distillery. Did you see that?
No.
It's going to be in a story called The Missionary. My favorite position. And it's going to be, he's going to write it, and it's going to be drawn by Jason Howard.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Who's been on Cemetery Beach. That's the only thing I know him from off the top of my head, but.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know he was a writer.
He has not as of yet, but I guess Distillery was like, you're pretty hot and heavy right now, I guess. So.
Yeah, I was like, how is he going to draw like a huge like magazine book with X-Men going on?
No. He's just writing it. So
okay, interesting.
It's going to be...
I feel like such a dick when I'm like hearing that like an artist is going to be writing. I'm like, can they write though? You know?
I think a lot of the times they write very good.
I don't even like all the writers who are
just writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when...
I don't really... I think I have more examples in my head of people that have done that successfully than people that have not. You know, because I think of like Declan Shalvey. I think of like Chip Zdarsky. I think of like Michael Walsh, who's doing like Silver Coin and shit now.
Is Silver Coin even still going
Todd
on?
McFarlane, I guess you could say, did that because he's an artist.
You read the first trade of Spawn. It's just all right, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that would be a bad example. But I mean, people liked it like as it went on. Maybe Mike Mignola.
I think if I thought about it enough, I could come up with some examples
bad ones.
Where like, yeah, this is just all right.
Anyway, The Missionary is going to be described as being for fans of The Exorcist or Preacher, about a devout Christian who must reconcile with his dark side when he encounters a demon. Seems pretty simple, I guess. There's a longer synopsis of it, but I'm not going to read it all. But it looks pretty cool.
That makes sense. A missionary, you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Charlie Hunnam's going to be in the Criminal series for Amazon.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I was like, okay, they got some big people in this. I think that's overall good news. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, they've been announcing a lot of people.
Yeah, but he's going to be like the lead role, I guess.
Nice.
So I think it's good. Good news. Can't wait for that to come out.
You're a big Criminal fan, Nathan?
Not really.
How many Criminals have you read?
I've read the relaunch of Criminal, and I was like, this is okay. And I think I've definitely read the first couple issues of it. But people fucking love it. And so I think I like read it too early on because I heard that it was good, and then I like didn't understand that it was good or something, and then
I think it's like
I think I did
slow
the same
burn kind of thing, or maybe it's just like as a whole it's really good because each trade's like different.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if you're a couple trades in, then you're like, wow, this is so much diversity.
Yeah.
It's probably like the closest thing to like Fargo that there is, like the show. But I just like haven't read like the second trade or anything.
Yeah,
I probably have it.
There's another Distillery book, but it's Brian Azzarello and Stephanie Phillips co-writing it, called Life. Not much more about that. Oh, here's a weird one. Jeff Loeb is writing a sequel to The Long Halloween and calling it The Last Halloween, but the team will include Eduardo Risso and Klaus Jensen.
Okay.
And I guess Tim Sale was working on the sequel with Loeb before he unfortunately passed away. And so I think this will be one of the last things we see his art on, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
To have
it's going to be 10 issues. And so I think it said somewhere that Eduardo Risso and the other guy are going to start on like issue 3.
Okay. Nice.
So it's coming out.
That's cool that like it's not like they're not doing it at all because like he wasn't able to finish it kind of thing.
Yeah, because it was a project that they collaborated together on for the story of it. And so it's cool that we're still going to see that go all the way through.
Yeah.
So, man, big shoes to fucking fill for those two artists.
Yeah,
I mean, both of them are still pretty big and have been in the game for a while, but it's Tim Sale. I mean, he's the man. So it's gonna be tough to follow. There's a second Avengers book coming out from Steve Orlando with art by a bunch of artists.
Have you ever done an Avengers book?
We did Avengers versus X-Men, and we haven't done anything else. But I think reading Hickman Avengers would be cool, or like Bendis New Avengers. Yeah. Where like fucking Hawkeye turns into Ronin. That's supposed to be really good because it's got David Finch on it.
Right. That's cool.
So I think that'd be kind of cool.
I was thinking about like all the teams that like we haven't done.
Yeah.
Like,
have we done Avengers?
Like
other than that?
We did like the Ultimates.
We did the Ultimates. We did Avengers versus X-Men pretty early on. But I don't know if we've done Avengers. Just like a regular.
Because we haven't done like.
Because like
Legion,
which one do we do?
We haven't done like JLA. I don't even know if we've done like
No,
a Justice League book.
We've done Justice Society.
JSA. We got that one. Okay.
Surely we've done a Justice League book, right?
We've done the 1-Star Squadron. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Then that's covered. We got it. Alrighty. Let's get into the book that we read this week, which was George R.R. Martin's The Hedge Knight, which is an adaptation to the novella. I think it was like 3 different books.
Yeah, it was like a trilogy.
Yeah, a trilogy of books without pictures, and then they made it into books with picture so that I could read it.
Often referred to as the Dunk and Egg trilogy.
Yes.
For 2 characters that are in this.
Mm-hmm. Originally written by George R.R. Martin, but the adaptation was by Ben Avery, pencils by Mike Miller, colors by Mike Crowell.
And what I appreciate is that there is just the one artist for this.
Yeah, that is.
Because I feel like
that's good.
Adaptations can sometimes be like multiple artists, and that can make it kind of fuzzy, And so, yeah, that was nice. And I think that team is on like the 3 comic adaptations of these books.
Oh, so they cover all the novels?
I think so.
Oh,
so there's
cool.
like 2 more of these. I have the other one.
Oh, okay, nice.
Or I have the second one.
Very cool. Yeah, it's obviously set in like the Game of Thrones universe.
About 90 years before the events of Game of Thrones.
Which is then, 80 years after House of the Dragon?
I don't know.
I more recently saw the first episode of House of the Dragon, and I think they said it was like 174 years before.
Oh, I thought it was like 300, but...
Well, they said it was like 174 years before the Mad King died.
Right, which was also before
Game of Thrones actually started, so...
But not super far before.
Yeah, it was probably like 5 years, it felt like.
Right, okay.
So yeah, this is like fucking Star Wars, dude. It's like, okay, let me figure out where we are.
I feel like this is harder,
kind of trying to figure out where we were the whole time in this, and so I was like, is this in the future? Probably not, because
I picked this because it's a prequel.
Yeah,
because we're kind of reading it just because House of the Dragon season 2 is coming out.
Yeah,
and so there isn't like House of Fire and Blood or whatever, Fire and Blood adaptation. So this is like
A Song of Wind and Fire.
A Song of Ice and Fire is Game of Thrones, but there's like Fire and Blood, which is like what House of the Dragon is.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I have had a lot of Game of Thrones stuff going on this week because I finished Game of Thrones and I started House of the Dragon and I started this.
Yeah.
So I'm really fucking around with like 3 different eras of Game of Thrones.
I feel like that's like
it's exhausting.
The best time.
I mean,
because it's all fresh.
Dude, there's so many Targaryens with the same fucking name.
That's a little annoying.
There's like 6 Aegons.
Yeah,
Aegons.
There's like 3 Viseryses.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy. So, but anyway, this is super nice because it just takes the perspective of a character that isn't tied up with all of that royalty bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of like a fresh perspective, and it's cool because he just wants to be a knight because he likes to help innocent people.
Yeah, he's like a true knight.
Yeah. It's like what Jon Snow would be if he wasn't tied up with, being Ned Stark's son and all that shit.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I imagine it to be.
What I noticed in this is that it does feel like it's actually in that universe.
Yeah.
Because of like all the references there are.
You get all the houses in there and it's like, that's a Baratheon. That shit's crazy.
They talk about all this stuff and it's like familiar, Mm-hmm. And so.
They do yap a bit. And there, you could tell that this is an adaptation of a book because they're explaining things that the panels also explain. And so, but like maybe with like a little bit more colorful language, they use a nice adjective every once in a while. But I think Mike Miller's a really good artist. So I think you should just like step aside and let him do his thing. But at the same time, the Game of Thrones George R.R. Martin series has a particular voice, it feels like. So I understand why they felt the need to put that stuff in.
They probably like thinned it out the best they could.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it would be a lot harder to get through if there was a lot.
How it's like a dense book is that I was finishing this up at like the airport and Sarah's like, that's a lot of words. And I'm like, and she reads books.
Yeah.
Like without pictures.
There's a couple pages where I was like, Jesus Christ, why are we yapping so much? There's so many there's so much dialogue sometimes that like they do the letterer no, which I guess is a thing I saw on Twitter from a letterer once, but like their word balloons like cross tails because there was like no other room to like fucking put them in or like space them out.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, but yeah, there are some pages where you turn it and it's like there's mostly white and black characters on this.
I mean, I guess I feel like that happens a lot where the tales cross when like there's back and forward, but they all fit that into one panel.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really seem like the fault of the letterer.
No, it's not.
It's just like
there's just lots of word.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, overall, I think it definitely feels like in universe. I mean, there's not a whole lot that really happens in this, but I still find it very enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah, it's not a very big and epic kind of tale because it is about this like
just this dude,
like peasant kind of dude, like a lowborn person. But I think it, has redeeming qualities.
Yeah, I do too.
And then when you like read on or like learn about these characters, you realize like how important they are to the rest of the story.
Yeah. You had sent me a video. What's the creator's name?
Alt-Shift-X.
Alt-Shift-X. What does that do? I meant to do that. Hold on.
Oh, I don't know.
My computer's going to explode. Watch. I don't know what that did, but I did it.
No, that's a fantastic YouTube channel that has a lot of recaps and stuff. And he does like a recap episode, video of like every episode of House of the Dragon, which is super refreshing because he's like read all the books and shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I became aware of this book is from watching his videos.
Yeah.
He also does like other stuff like The Expanse and like he did videos for like the Watchmen show.
Oh, cool.
He actually has like a video about like Watchmen, like just the book Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like the best explanation of the story and like why it's good.
Like the metaphors? Does he analyze like metaphors and shit that are in there?
Yeah,
or?
like everything.
Okay,
and
cool.
It's like super, super impressive. I like have it saved just because I like to go back to it because
Yeah.
it's like that good of a video.
I think he does a really good job like explaining everything like around this book.
Yeah.
Because I read it and then you sent it to me and then I watched it and I was like, okay, he's just explaining what happened. But then after that, he kind of puts it in the context of the universe and he puts in the effort to do like a family tree of like Targaryens and shit like
Which
that.
is
and I'm like,
so clutch.
Oh my God, thank you. Because I had no idea where we were. I didn't know how many generations we were from any of the other things.
Yeah.
And so shout out to that guy because he did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it. So Dunk, who's the main character of the book, is burying Sir Arlen, who is a Hedge Knight, which I think means that you're not knighted by like some royalty, but you're just kind of like a rogue or you're like a nomad almost, and you're just kind of like on your own.
Yeah.
And so
you're not like
you're not
part
like
of some King's Guard or something like that.
And so they were on their way to do a jousting tournament at Ashford Meadow. But Sir Arlen had passed away. And so Dunk decides to bury him and decides to still do the tourney and takes Arlen's sword. And I like this idea of a Hedge Knight just being someone that is a knight just purely for the game or like just for the purpose of like protecting the innocent. And
loves the hustle, man.
Yeah, he likes the hustle and he's not necessarily doing it to gain any sort of political power in any way, which is kind of what it feels like happens in the show maybe sometimes. But
yeah.
Yeah,
so
it's very noble, and it's cool that there's these like people in this universe.
Dunk was like his squire, but like I think right.
Yeah, Dunk is Arlen's squire,
but he like learned like a shit ton from him, and is like a really big dude.
Yeah,
so he like definitely could be like a knight, but like Arlen like never really knighted him.
Yeah, well maybe he never got the chance. I'm sure he was like training him to do that.
Actually, yeah,
but
to kind of put into context of where we are, like the dragons are like all gone in this, and Arlen saw like the last dragon like die.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you just saw a dragon. But...
And yeah, what was happening is like the eggs like weren't hatching. And so there's just one and then they went extinct.
So then were those the eggs that are in Game of Thrones?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So on his way to Ashford Meadow to go to the tournament, Dunk stops at like an inn or like a bar. And there's a dude that's blacked out there, but he wakes up and he's like, yo, I saw you were in my dream. I saw you. And then he like fucks off. And after a drink, Dunk heads back to his warhorse named Thunder. Good name. And he sees a stable boy that's playing with Thunder and he's got like all of Dunk's armor on and shit. And so Dunk is pretty like chill about it. He just tells him to take it off and he denies the boy's request to be his squire.
And that's Egg.
That is Egg. Yeah. And Egg's head is fucking huge. I can see why his name is Egg.
Yeah, he's got quite the noggin on him.
And it's funny because when they first interact, there's like a good 2 panels where it looks like Dunk is going to absolutely backhand the shit out of Egg. Where he's like got it primed and ready to go. And I'm like, you're going to hit this kid? But it's just funny to me. So Dunk ends up making it to Ashford. He finds like a nearby lake to take a bath and chill. And then he goes into the town. He sees a puppet show depicting a fight between like a knight and a dragon. Dunk finds an armorer named Steely Pate who measures Dunk and gives him a price for a new set of armor, which gives Dunk sticker shock. But they settle on trading in Dunk's old armor to discount the new armor. And then when Dunk is back at his camp, he sees the boy from the inn followed him in and is like at his little campsite. And that's pretty much the first issue. Just a dude kind of wandering around. I mean, a lot of this is until like the very end, but it's good like character development stuff. And,
yeah, you have to kind of establish a story and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like
there's also, one of the instances of like pretty colorful like dialogue is that there's a line that says, "The summers have been shorter since the last dragon died and the winters longer and crueler," which I didn't realize was a thing because like I guess the dragons help make the summers and like longer. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know if that's like a thing actually in universe, but it's kind of a cool concept, I guess.
They're like the ice caps, Nathan. When the ice caps are gone, everything goes to shit. It's really like a symbolism for global warming.
So dragons are global warming?
Yeah.
Whoa.
They're the glaciers that are being melted.
Whoa.
Wow.
And we're like, and we've been idolizing these dragons the whole time.
Yeah, we've been taking them for granted.
Also, having the name Steely Pate is so sick if you're an armorer.
Yeah.
Having your name be Steely, like maybe that's why he's an armorer in the first place. He's like,
his dad probably was like an armorer, like a blacksmith or whatever.
Name your kid after what you do for a job.
Steely.
Such a sick name. So yeah, issue 2. So Egg caught some fish and he washed his horses, and so Dunk decides to squire the boy after all, and he learns his name is Egg because of his bald fucking head. And Egg gives Dunk a proper knight name of Sir Duncan the Tall, which is cool. And the next day he goes to sign up for the tournament, but the guys don't believe that he's actually a knight, even after Duncan name drops Sir Alan. So Duncan has to go find somebody to vouch for him.
Dunk's like way too cocky in this issue because he's talking about how like how he's gonna like win all the jousting and shit.
You have not jousted one time, sir.
Yeah, I know. And like these are people who like do that.
Yeah,
probably a lot. And he's like, "Oh no, I'll win." And then he's like,
"I'm pretty big. Maybe I got a big arm span."
He like puts like a down payment on like armor.
Yeah,
that he's
betting everything he has.
Yeah,
he even said that like when he traded in the armor, he's like, "I could have lived like a year off of what I just like got."
That's crazy.
So yeah, he's really putting it all on red. And it seems like a fucked up system. Like, how are there no records of like who's actually a knight or whatever? Like, is it all just based off of notoriety, I guess?
Yeah,
because you have to be like a influencer almost to be let into this tournament.
I mean, it makes sense rather than just a bunch of randos
like a bunch of people being like, "Yeah, I'm a knight."
Yeah,
like I guess that makes sense. They probably get a couple people like that, but
he tries to go to like a dude who Arlen used to like work for, but he's like,
"I don't remember you."
He's like, "Dude, I've had like hundreds of knights like work for me or whatever."
Yeah,
and I wouldn't remember them, let alone like their squire or whatever.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
So we see some Targaryens.
Yeah, on his way, Duncan sees a bunch of bannermen in Kingsguard for House Targaryen, and I realized reading that name that if I didn't watch the show and knew how it was pronounced, I would pronounce it Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, he runs into Aerion Targaryen. Is that how you say it? Aerion? Arian? Probably. Yeah. Aerion Targaryen. That's kind of sick, actually. Yeah, I just said that out loud for the first time. So he mistakes Dunk for a stable boy, and he's just kind of a douchebag in general. And then Dunk sells Sir Arlen's horse so that he can afford his new armor. And on his way back to get the armor, Duncan hits on the puppeteer girl, but gets denied.
There's the artist's depiction of like the Targaryen sigil.
Yeah.
And it's like different than what we see in like the show, right? Because like this book, like this like comic like came out before the show.
It did?
So they didn't really have any like kind of reference.
You know, it was pretty close. I saw that and I was like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. No, you totally like it totally makes sense, but it's just like different. I think that's like fun.
Yeah, it is kind of cool, huh? Because I guess I didn't look that closely, but yeah, the show one's definitely more circular.
Yeah, it's definitely more geometric.
Yeah, but that's how you know Mike Miller's got that shit, dude.
There's a dude.
So is he like the first one to like really? I mean, I'm sure other people had like kind of sketched it out beforehand, or maybe they had.
There's comic adaptations of like the Game of Thrones books, like Song of House and Fire or Song of Ice and Fire, and so maybe that the sigils in that.
Oh, probably.
And so he maybe be basing off of that. But there's this dude in the Kingsguard, and he's got like the reddest hair.
It's so red.
Like it's
not even like ginger.
It's not
like,
realistic red. Yeah,
it's like, not like Tormund from the show. It's like this is like
fire red,
Wendy's type red.
Yeah, and so I'm like, it's kind of dark because there's other redheads in this.
Yeah,
but this guy is just like hot rod red,
Ronald McDonald red.
Right? Yeah.
Kingsguard looks fucking sick though. They have like the
awesome,
white like feathered looking armor and
with like gold accents,
big cloaks. So pretty fucking cool. Like you could just like they have aura.
Yeah.
So
they look very angelic. You know.
I also when Duncan's like hitting on the puppeteer girl, I like that a potential date is just going to get a sausage with someone because he offers to go get a drink or a sausage, and I'm like, that sounds great. I want to go get a sausage. Also, the production value on this puppeteer show, fucking insane. Because at one point, the puppet knight slays a puppet dragon, and there's like smoke that comes out of it.
Yeah, and these little things are like that big.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's really fucking cool. Also, the pose of the puppet, she's really controlling that shit.
Yeah, I don't really know if puppets are that versatile or whatever.
They are. I've seen like puppeteers on TikTok that do like there's like a name for them. It's not just like a puppeteer, but like they like make them like dance and twerk and shit. It's kind of cool.
Wow. Okay.
So maybe they had figured it out here. But Dunk doesn't end up getting the vouch that he needs because they don't remember Sir Arlen, and even after Dunk tells a story that only Sir Arlen would know, they still deny him because anybody that was around any other night would know that story, I guess. So now he has no way of entering the tournament. Oh no. And Dunk does see like a Fossaway knight sparring with his squire. So it's like another house. I don't think we ever see them in the show. Mm-mm. And their symbol is just a red apple, which is funny to me because I compare it to like the Targaryen one, which is like super sick with like dragons and shit. And these guys are just like, they have an apple.
They're the apple people. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like there's ones that are like lightning and shit. And so it's just funny that they're like, yeah, this apple's pretty cool. We should have that. So issue 3, Dunk goes back to the dude taking names for the tournament, and he accidentally walks in on a dispute with the Targaryens. So the prince is angry at his son Darren and Aegon disappearing when they should be around at the tournament, and he's mad about Baelor Targaryen being like a drunk dude. And one of the guys there does end up noticing Dunk, and he does know of Arlen through another tournament that I guess Arlen was in, and so he sponsors Dunk to be in the tournament.
I think
he was like Prince.
I think Daeron is the drunk, but Baelor is like the dad, like the one we see here, and he's got like darker hair.
Okay,
but he's a Targaryen because his mom's from like Dorne.
Right. So I guess it's like a recessive gene, maybe
potentially,
or maybe it's like a somewhat dominant gene because most of them have like white blondish hair, right?
Yeah.
Most of the Targaryens.
Right.
So maybe it's not necessarily like completely dominant in the Punnett square.
I got a C in biology, so I don't know.
There's a recessive allele in what seems like their genetic pool, and so if it happens to where they get with a bitch with brown hair, there's like a quarter chance that they have brown hair. So most of them would be blonde, white hair.
Yeah, that seems to be the only thing, because you're not like a Targaryen if like your mom's a Targaryen and your dad's not,
Oh, really?
Like name wise.
Oh, yeah.
And so that seems to be consistent, because like spoilers for like the show, but like Jon Snow has like dark hair and his mom is like Lyanna Stark.
Right.
And he has.
But normally you would have like bright hair. He just got unlucky, I guess.
If his mom was, because his dad was blonde, then he would be blonde.
Well, I'm saying your dad could be the blonde and your mom could be the brown hair, and you could still have like the blonde hair. So I guess
it's like possible, but it doesn't seem to happen in this.
So the Targaryens are both Targaryens typically blonde-haired people? Because that's incest, which I know happens in the show. It's like a big.
There's
part
a lot
of
that, dude.
Really?
That would be incest. Be like, maybe it is.
Oh, I don't know. I've looked at the family tree and I'm like, okay, this makes sense, but I don't know.
Like, I can't think of too many instances where there's any other house that like
that just
marries into the family, you know?
It would suck if like a Targaryen woman had a baby with somebody outside of the Targaryens, and so like your son has the white blonde hair, but you're not part of the Targaryen family.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Anyway, too much to think about. So Dunk's into the tournament and he wants a new shield and symbol or sigil. Is that what they call it? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, sigil.
And so he goes to the puppet girl and asks her to design a new sigil for his shield. And
she like crafted like the puppets. So she has like...
She paints the puppets. Her dad, I think, crafts the puppets.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why he asks her. She accepts, and we find out her name is Tansel. They call her Tansel Too Tall because she's also tall, which means that she's a good fit for Duncan.
Yeah, the tall.
So then Duncan and Egg go to the first day of the jousting tournament to scope out the competition. They see a bunch of big hitters there like Prince Valar, Lionel Baratheon, Leo Tyrell, and some other big hitters. And I think they're just going up against like amateurs for the first day of the tournament.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you get in a seeded tournament and like number one seed goes against bottom. And so then Aerion Targaryen is up and he does some bad shit and kills the opponent's horse seemingly on purpose. And so Egg gets pissed and they both leave. And finally we got some action in here, Daniel, because the jousting art is sick.
It is very good.
Like there's lots of debris, you know, when they hit each other, like the lance shatters and shit. The armor's fucking cool. Some of them are kind of silly, but really cool. Like, who's this guy with a lion on his helmet? Are you kidding me?
Lannister?
Is it?
Yeah.
They have lions on their fucking heads?
Yeah, it's their sigil.
The only cool one I think is the Baratheons who have like fucking metal antlers coming out, and that's awesome.
Those are cool.
Really cool
because
looking.
like they all just have like some have their sigil on their helmet, which is odd. There's like the Targaryens will have like a dragon or something on theirs.
Yeah, like I'm cool with the feathers on there. That seems pretty typical. There's a dude with like a bird on it, so
yeah, that's a thing. And
they're like statues, like on top of the head, which just seems impractical.
Going back to Dunk and his like shield, he asked for like an elm tree as his sigil, like another kind of like lame sigil, you know.
I think trees fine
in comparison to like an apple. But like you also would kind of think that the tree would be like taken, you know.
It's like a specific kind of tree though, so maybe some people would get oak tree or
an elm tree is what his is.
Yeah, I don't know what an elm tree is. Maybe some people would have a Joshua tree. Those ugly fuckers.
I don't think they know of Joshua trees.
He gets the elm tree with like a shooting star because he saw a shooting star or something on his way there.
Right.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a yoink and twist, perhaps. There's like a thing that like a lot of comic artists will hate, and it's like drawing feet because it's like hard to line up the feet with like the ground and make it look, you know, accurate. And like drawing horses is one of those, and this book has a lot of horses, so I wonder if like this applies to Mike Miller too, where he's like, fuck, there's so many horses that I have to draw. But he's really good at it seems, so I don't know.
Aerion Targaryen's like armor kind of looks like what like Guy Fieri's like armor would look like if he was a knight.
He's a Targaryen. He's got the hair.
Whoa. Well, no, he dyes his hair blonde.
That doesn't matter. It still counts.
He dyes his goatee blonde, if you can believe it.
Okay, so he does. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like the mustache is like blonde and the rest is like black or something.
Whoa. So Guy Fieri
is a Targaryen.
He's like a dude trying to act like a Targaryen.
Maybe his mom had like dark hair, and so he's like always not felt like part of the family.
But I'm a Targaryen. Watch.
Yeah, I'll dye my mustache.
I go to diners, dive-ins, and inns, or whatever. So
I have mead and fucking goose or geese.
Yeah, I eat sausages all the time.
Yeah,
it does look like that because he's got like
it's like
the black and like the fire on the shirt.
Yeah. And then there's like fire on like his helmet.
Yeah. He just needs sunglasses and that's it. Like that's Guy Fieri.
And a fucking hoagie or something.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if this is like a real thing in jousting, but I like that if you get knocked off your horse, you can just decide to battle it out with like swords and shit.
Yeah, that happens in the show, I think.
Yeah, it happens in the show, but I don't know if like in real jousting that's what they would do. But I think it's a cool rule. It's kind of like hockey. If you just like start punching start punching each other.
That's not like a part of the game, but it just happens, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it seems like it's a part of the game in like the show.
Yeah.
Because in House of the Dragon, what's his face does it? Because he's angry.
Yeah.
But
because I've never seen like a jousting at like the Renaissance Fair or anything like that.
That would be cool if that's what they did.
Have you ever watched that?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do they ever like get off their horses?
Just to like gloat, but they don't ever like fall off their horse ever. Okay. Because they don't like hit each other.
How's that work?
They have like a little ring that's like,
oh, you have to get the ring.
You have to like get their ring and not, or no, they still have a shield and shit. I can't remember how it goes. They don't like hit each other in the chest though, because that would be awesome.
That'd be fucking dangerous.
But it's really fun doing it at the Ren Fair.
At the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, that'd be sick, right?
No, you like saw that.
But it's fun to be in the stands because they like assign you like you're gonna be on like the green team, like and then you're gonna be on like the red team on like the other side, and so you start like booing like the other team, and it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy, and then I'm just like drinking the whole time, so I'm like, "Fuck you," you know. And I'm like,
"Fuck the green team."
Really, you feel like you're in there, dude. It's fun. But anyway, issue 4. So that night, Dunk goes to have a drink with Raymond Fossaway, who's like the dude that he met before with the apple sigil. He's like kind of talking to him about the tournament or whatever, and then Egg bursts in to tell Dunk that Aerion Targaryen is attacking Tancel, the puppet girl. And so Dunk pulls up and he fucking punches Aerion in his face, and Dunk is immediately tackled by Kingsguard. And Aerion was mad in the first place because the dragon, which is like the symbol of the Targaryen, was being slain by a knight. And Aerion sentences Dunk to death, but then Egg stops him, revealing that he is Aerion Targaryen's brother, which is a big reveal. So kind of cool. This guy's not just like some random stable boy. He's actually royalty, and you're like, whoa, what's that about? It's a cool reveal.
We should have known Nathan by his blonde eyebrows.
His blonde fucking eyebrows. My question is, like, you see him with like hair later. How did he get that shit so shaved down?
Yeah, like
without even like a little bit of buzz. Cause like they don't have like like
maybe like a knife.
He must have had a knife and like some shaving,
but
cream.
Still pretty like
it's like
done pretty well.
Like Walter White bald, you know. It's not like Eminem, you know.
What's funny is like I knew about like the Dunk and Egg like trilogy.
Yeah,
and Egg is like a very common like nickname for like Aegon Targaryens, you know, and there's because there's like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And so like I just like didn't make the connection. I'm like, oh, he Dunk and Egg. It's just like
he's bald and they're making fun of him.
Yeah, his head looks like an egg.
Yeah.
And so
it's a good misdirect like for me, because I had no idea about those, and I'm like, Egg makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, why does this guy got pull all of a sudden? I'm like, oh, he's like royal family.
Yeah, he's like one of them. It's a little bit petty that Aerion would like make a big deal about this like puppet show, but I know that we're supposed to hate him, so it makes sense. But anyway, Dunk is taken to a castle cell instead of to death, and Egg meets him later, explaining that he was supposed to squire for Darren.
His hair's growing out.
His hair's growing out. He looks like Marshall Mathers now.
He grew hair in like an hour.
Well, I think this is like weeks later.
Oh, okay.
He just decided, but that's what confuses me, because like this whole thing up to this point has taken like I think a couple weeks.
Okay.
And so why is his hair not grown in since then? But I guess he has been shaving it. So yeah, he was supposed to squire for Darren, but he was the drunk guy in the bar that said he had a dream in the beginning of the book. So Egg wanted to squire for Dunk instead, and he reveals that his real name is Aegon Targaryen. So
this issue is like super confusing with like the names and stuff.
So many names.
And like they're names that you recognize, but just kind of remembering who's who.
Which one?
As far as like who's competing or whatever.
Especially with the Targaryens, because there's like Baelor, there's Darren, there's Aegon, now there's Aegon, and there's Aerion before.
And then there's like Egg's like uncle.
Maeklar or something?
Maekar? Yeah. And
he just comes in at the end, and I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Because like there was jousting, right? And it was like showing like how good some of the jousters are. And that's like when their names popped up. And then they'll talk about them later. And I'm like, all right, which one was that?
Yeah.
You know?
Like Prince Valar, I think, shows up at some point. And he's, I don't know. So yeah, there's definitely a lot there. I think you get more out of this book if you had read the novels for sure, but since this is like exactly the same, like
this would be so hard if you just read the novels. You don't have like faces to like.
It would, but I think there's more repetition of like who's who, even though you don't really have an idea of what they look like. I think this would be hardest to read if you were just going into this and you're like, oh, I've heard about George R. R. Martin. You know, let me read this, and then you're like, what the fuck are all these people about? You know?
Yeah, it's good that this is like a prequel, but they're kind of coming out like in between like the Game of Thrones main books.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway.
They just convince Dunk, because he's a knight now, to do a trial by combat to avoid death. So that's pretty cool. He's gonna combat Aerion Targaryen. So then in issue 5, Aerion's like, no, we're gonna do a trial of 7, which is the same thing, but instead it's a 7v7 now, which is a lot of people to bring into a beef.
Which is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
As like a thing to like counter with, or just like be like a way out.
Yeah, because I could see why like the 1v1 would be a thing in general, because it's like, if you are able to best this dude, it's because the gods said like put that power on you or whatever. That's what they believe.
Like skill.
And so when did the 7v7 come in, and what was the reason for it, and why 7? You know, there's a lot. It's like a big step there, you know.
And Aerion definitely has like the upper hand with that, because he's got like the Kingsguard, and he has like more connections and stuff like that.
He's got like 100 brothers.
Yeah, that too.
So it's like, so anyway, he wants a trial of 7, knowing that Dunk won't have 6 other dudes to fight with him. And so then Aerion recruits Daemon, his brother that was drunk at the inn at the start, and Dunk now has to go off and find 6 other dudes to bring into his beef, which I think naturally would be very hard to do because everybody could die.
Daeron's like, I'm just gonna get hit once and then lay on the ground, like, because he's
that's based.
Yeah, because he's gonna be on like, you know, the other side. But he's like telling Dunk like he's not gonna like be fighting.
No, I think Darren's on Aerion's side, isn't he? Or no?
Aerion's side, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's telling Dunk.
Oh, but he's telling Dunk that like he doesn't want to actually be like a big fighter.
Right.
Okay, yeah. If
this is confusing to listen to, definitely watch this episode, because I'll like have like faces and stuff and make it a lot easier. But
yeah.
So anyway, you're locked in with Game of Thrones.
I kind of just like skim over like a lot of the stuff because there are a lot of names, but Dunk manages to get Stefan and Raymond Fossaway to join his side for. They just want to do it because it's kind of sick that there's a trial of 7 happening and there hasn't been one for decades. And so those are guys with the apples for a sigil. Dunk finds out from Darren that Aerion is recruiting like Kingsguard and like really good knights. And so then Darren says that he had a dream about Dunk slaying a dragon, which I think is supposed to represent Aerion in like a metaphorical way.
Is this a cool transition, like the hood to the wing kind of thing?
I didn't even notice. Hold on. Whoa, that is kind of cool.
Is it? Okay, I thought it looked kind of weird.
I mean, it looks like his wing goes out really like a lot further than it should. I didn't even notice it in general. It just kind of looked like a.
I think because I was reading like the book, it like made more of a difference.
Mm-hmm. I think it's kind of cool. It's a cool looking dragon.
There's a bit where like Dunk talks about how he's like never laid with a woman, and I'm like, Dunk gets no bitches.
Yeah. Dunk doesn't.
He's probably like 7 feet tall. How?
He only dunks, Daniel. He doesn't shoot a shot. So anyway, the puppet girl fled town to go to Dorne or something, but she finishes Dunk's shield, which is a tree with a shooting star on it. Pretty cool looking.
I don't know. Just got like a rainbow on it.
I think it's got a nice.
Or it's like a.
What do they call that effect?
It's supposed to be like a sunset kind of thing, where it's like the yellow to the red to the purple kind of thing. So I guess. It's fine. It doesn't look very tough though. No, it looks a little bit more innocent. Like it used to be like a chalice with wings on it. That looked way cooler. Yeah, that's kind of cool. A little bit more royalty. What would your sigil be, Daniel? Mine would be a Stein. With foamy ale coming out of it, or beer. And it's got a gun. But nobody knows what a gun is because they haven't been invented yet. So like, what the fuck is this thing? Mine would just be like the Arnold Predator meme where he's like, you know, doing the handshake
with the two buff arms,
the two biceps.
That shit
flexing.
Goes hard. Yeah, that would be a Schwarzenegger sigil for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, he has a shield now. The next day, the civilians start to hype up Dunk for being a true knight and protecting the innocent. They then recruit Humphrey, who wants to get revenge on Arian, and they also get his brother-in-law, also named Humphrey, which is a bit weird. So they're up to a couple people now. They're getting their numbers up. And then they get their big hitter, Lionel Baratheon, who joins for the glory of a trial by 7 as well. And so they're getting their numbers up.
A trial by 7 hasn't happened in like 100 years, apparently.
So they're like fucking stoked.
They're like, sick, dude. I'm
like,
give me in on this. And like, people don't like the Targaryens, and so they also want to just kind of get a couple hits in.
At the beginning, I'm like, how the fuck is he supposed to find 6 guys?
Yeah.
And then it kind of makes sense that like some people would want revenge on Arian specifically, or they just don't like it, and also like the prestige of this event would be kind of cool. So
Lionel Baratheon, his nickname is the Laughing Storm, which I think is pretty sick.
Yeah, he like laughs when he goes into battle and stuff like that.
Yeah, which is like so scary.
It's very scary. That dude's a psycho.
Some dude's like swinging at you and he's laughing when he's doing it.
I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
This guy's a psychopath.
I want to fight the Kingsguard guy, actually. So as the fight is about to start, Stefan Fossaway, the Apple dude, reveals that he's double crossing to join Arian's side. So Dunk has his brother knighted, Raymond, to join Dunk's side. Because you have to be a knight in order to be in this fight. And so he's like, oh, your brother bailed. Let me knight you, and then you'll be on my side, which isn't ideal.
His brother bailed because like Arian like promised to make him like a lord.
Yeah.
You know? Which I like get, you know, but
still a little scummy.
Yeah.
But they still need one more. Dunk is like, let me ask the crowd of people that are here to watch the fight to see if there's like anybody want to be a part of this. And the guy that steps up is Prince Baelor Targaryen, who's the brother of Arian. This sounds like a Dr. Seuss book, but
isn't he the dad?
I don't know. He's a Targaryen though. It's the surprising thing.
Yeah,
is his brother? I think he's brother, but he's the first heir of the Iron Throne.
Right.
I don't know who is like the king of the whatever of Westeros in this book.
Yeah.
But this guy is like next up in line, which is why it's a big deal.
Right.
This Targaryen has like a dragon on his helmet, and that one looks a little bit silly to me too.
With the wings up and everything?
Yeah, wings up. It seems like it's not very aerodynamic. You know, if you're doing this for jousting or whatever, you might not want that. You want to be a little bit faster.
He looks like that Red Lantern that you like.
Oh, yeah. Belize?
Belize?
Yeah. The hot one.
Yeah. The baddie.
The baddie. So issue 6, Prince Baelor says that he joined because Dunk is a true knight and he's protecting the innocent, and he thinks that's sick. And then Raymond is like, oh, I painted my apple green really quick somehow because I don't like the red apple guys anymore because they betrayed me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did you get it? Like, do you have a green marker on you? This is like 5 minutes that this happened. But so the battle starts. They all like crash into each other. It gets a little hectic. There's a lot that like happens. It's like a really cool scene. I'm not going to go over like every beat that happens, but the important thing is that Arian and Dunk start to fight. Arian gets the upper hand because he has like better spear like equipment than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Arian comes back around. He knocks Dunk off the horse, but Dunk is able to like overpower Arian on the ground, and he forces Arian to like call off the trial. So everybody like the Dunk side wins.
What was a little disappointing at the initial like joust is that have like 7-on-7, you know, in this double page spread. But like in the book, the main characters are like in the crack, so you can't even see them.
Yeah, Dunk's in the crack.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks. What I do appreciate is the variety of like armor colors and stuff, so you can kind of keep track of like the Targaryen ones and like the Kingsguard ones, like kind of the more important guys, or like Lionel.
Yeah.
You can tell. And it's kind of funny because Dunk is so outclassed as far as like drip goes, because he's just wearing like normal ass armor, and everybody else has like white and gold or like black and red or like bumblebee stripe.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I wish there was like a little bit more action of like all of them hitting each other at once, because I think that's like the scariest part of like starting a fight is like the people in the front lines. But I also think it's cool that Arian has like a mace for like a second weapon.
Pretty cool.
You don't really see those a lot in Game of Thrones, so I'm like, ooh, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
But so anyway, Dunk's side wins. Prince Baelor goes to congratulate Dunk on his victory, but when he takes off his helmet, he has like a fatal head wound that makes him fall to the ground, and then he dies. And I'm pretty sure he's like heir to the throne, so it's like a big deal. So Baelor's body is burned in a ritual, and Dunk goes to leave just the whole place in general. And he's offered a place as Egg's mentor from Prince Maekar Targaryen, but he turns it down. But he does accept Egg as a squire, and then they just like ride off to the sunset on their next journey or whatever, and that's how it ends.
Yeah, Baelor had the gash in his head because he got hit by like a mace, but it was Maekar's mace.
It was Maekar's mace.
Yeah,
and so
not Arian's. So it was like on accident.
I forgot that he was in that 7v7 in the first place. So
and that I feel like that's
confusing.
such a lame way to kill someone off. You know, it would be cool if he like died in battle and we like saw it happen.
Yeah,
or
I
if
agree.
it was some other mishap, not like after the fact.
But for him to get like kind of concussed and like maybe bled out. Yeah, I would kind of prefer if it was like, yeah, if we saw like Maekar kill him, but then I don't know.
So
would he get the Iron Throne if he was the one to kill his brother?
And that kind of plays into like the whole dream thing, to where like a dragon fell and Dunk was kind of the reason why it died. Like it didn't show Dunk slaying the dragon in
the dream.
Yeah, and Daemon's dream.
Yeah, Daemon.
And so
the metaphor still holds up, is what you're saying.
It's not like it was on purpose, or if it was the other side.
I hadn't thought about it. But yeah, that makes sense. Like there's still a Targaryen that dies.
Right.
So it's interesting. It's kind of crazy that he stepped up to be in this whole thing in the first place, because he's like the next person to take on the Iron Throne, but it's kind of sick at the same time. So
yeah, he's just like cocky.
Yeah, I respect it.
And so, yeah, Dunk, like you said that he didn't take the job.
He doesn't take the job to be Egg's mentor, but he still accepts Aegon as a squire.
Yeah, he said,
which is what Aegon
he was thinking
wants
like
as
that
well.
would make him more like a noble knight than it would be if he was like in in the King's Guard or something, where like
still a bad situation though, because you're a part of the family now or whatever. Like you're in, you're accepting a job essentially for Targaryens, and you're responsible somewhat for the death of one of them.
Right.
And Aeryn's still like alive. It's not like he's gonna fuck off. So it's just a bad job offer in general.
Right.
I guess a nice gesture.
It would be like kind of a meal ticket.
Yeah.
Which would be nice, but
anyway, pretty good, I would say. So let's go into Back Matter Matters.
Back Matter Matters.
There's like a little backup comic that I skimmed through but didn't really read too much on. Did you?
I didn't even see this.
It's like a couple pages. It's not super big. It's like more action. I think it was a different artist that did it. Hold on.
Yeah, it looks like it.
No, it's still Mike Miller.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's the battle on Redgrass Field. It's like one of the big wars that happened. I think Sir Arlen was alive at the time for it, but I can't remember. So I just kind of skimmed through it. It's pretty good. And then we also have character designs, which are really cool, and like pencils from some of the pages. And
I didn't get any of those.
You didn't?
Yeah, I got a couple like coat of arms or whatever.
Oh, I have that page as well.
For different people. And I got like a variant cover.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Yeah. You're talking about this one? Is yours 2 pages as well?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I have that, and then the cover. If you want to look at the pencils and designs, he's really good at what he does, Mike Miller.
You know him from
Injustice.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm now realizing he got after this. So that's pretty cool. Good for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's cool that like, I don't know how established he was prior to this, but I don't know. It just seems like, I'm not sure what example I'm thinking of, but like when there's some sort of comic adaptation of something, it's always just some like whatever artist, and there might be multiple. And so it doesn't feel very consistent, and that kind of turns me off from like a book. So this is cool.
I like it as well. I'm looking at the coat of arms and I'm trying to find the lamest one, and I think it's this one with a harp on it.
Harps are cool. It makes me think of like Guinness.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. I'll take it back. So number 2, a hardcover.
Yeah, so this is the Hedge Knight 2 Sworn Sword, Avery and Miller, and it looks pretty cool.
I think there's I saw in the comments of that YouTube video, the Alt-Shift-X one, kind of explaining this. There's someone that commented like, who's here because of the Hedge Knight series that got announced for HBO in 2025. that'd be kind of cool.
That's next year. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I think I did hear that, which I think conceptually it could be cool, but I think they definitely need to ramp it up a little bit more.
Yeah, they need to speed up some of the pacing.
But
on
also,
this.
like, Hot D
this
is
book
like
couldn't be a season, I don't think, because it'd be like a lot of fucking around.
Maybe like the trilogy could be a season.
But this comment was like 3 months ago.
Oh, really? I was like, is it like an 8-year-old like comment?
So could be a thing. I would give it a watch so that I could test Sophia on the names of everybody instead of me being the one that has to pay attention too much. But
yeah, but I like even though it didn't seem like that exciting of a story, I kind of like how it like kind of criticizes like the corrupt system of like nobility of being like in the Kingsguard or something like that.
Yeah, I like that it just shows like a nobody as well.
Yeah.
Kind of feels like a Star Wars-y type feel.
Yeah, and shows that like anyone could be a knight, really. And what's funny is that he hasn't been like knighted through all this.
He's been lying this whole time.
Right.
But it's like, even though you're lying, we still know that he has like the best intentions, so he should be a knight, you know?
Right.
So it doesn't like discount whatever he's done.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess him lying did result in the death of the heir of the Iron Throne if you line up the dominoes of like events. But
yeah.
You know, I want that guy to be a knight more than other people in this book. So it's kind of cool. I like the perspective.
Yeah. Some like additional back matter from like that video that I kind of stole that I thought made this like more interesting.
Yeah.
Is that Aegon has like his like kids, and one of them is Aemon Targaryen, who like grows up to be like the Maester in Castle Black.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
I was like, oh, I know that guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is like 2 generations away from what happens in the show. If Egg is like the beginning of like 1 generation away.
Right. And over time, like everyone in like the Targaryen family like dies off, and Egg like becomes king at one point.
Oh, that's cool.
And he like goes crazy in like his old age and becomes like obsessed with dragons.
Oh, yeah.
And tries to like figure out like how to get dragon eggs and how to get them to hatch or whatever. And he's like messing with magic, and I guess that caused like a disaster at Summerhall, which is like a disaster that's talked about a lot throughout like the books and stuff like that. And I might have been mentioned in the show, but I can't remember. But it's just like Summerhall was like burned down.
So when did the Mad King, who's a Baratheon, come into play? Did he kill a Targaryen?
Mad King was not a Baratheon.
He wasn't? He was a Targaryen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who's slain the Mad... Does the guy that slain the Mad King Baratheon? Is that what it was?
No, that was Jaime Lannister.
So why was there a Baratheon that was a king?
Because I think he was leading like the kind of like rebellion against Aegon's like rule or something, and he was just kind of like named king or something.
Okay.
Because I don't think Jaime wanted to be king or anything.
No, he didn't. Do you think he's a good guy?
Jaime?
Yeah. By like the end of the show?
Yeah.
He's got like a big redemption arc.
Yeah, most of the time he's doing things like very moral things, you know?
Yeah. He's interesting. I would agree.
But anyway, so when Aegon was king, he makes like Dunk like the
head guy,
the
right?
head of the Kingsguard or whatever.
That's nice.
Yeah, and everyone in his family was killed except for his like daughter
Dunk,
which was except for Aegon's daughter Rhaella Targaryen, which is like Daenerys's mom.
Oh, cool.
Right. So like
Egg is Daenerys's great grandpa, or just grandpa?
Grandpa, I think. Yeah.
Whoa.
And so I think in that disaster, Rhaella was saved by Dunk. So if like Dunk didn't save her, then nothing in the Game of Thrones would have happened. So it shows that like Dunk is like important.
He does play a pivotal role.
He's not just like that much of a spin-off character, you know?
Yeah. I think if they were to do like a Hedge Knight show, like this whole thing would have to be like the first 2 episodes. And they would have to kind of focus more on, there'd have to be definitely like a time jump, I guess. I don't know what happens in like the following 2 books, but because all that stuff happens.
Maybe, I think it'd probably tell like the whole story of Dunk and Egg. Because I don't know if like the 3 books get to the Summerhall stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe it would end with that.
I don't think it does, because I think in that video he talks about and like the history of this whole thing, which makes me think that it's like not included in those books. But yeah, he does still play a pretty big role, like what happens in the show.
Definitely. So
there's a lot of fucking lore in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So luckily you like finish like the show, and so you have all that kind of context to make this like a bit of an easier read.
The timing worked out for sure.
Yeah. Luckily you like started it when you did, like however many weeks ago.
Because like imagine we read this and you couldn't tell me that, spoilers I guess, but that like Jon Snow was a Targaryen.
Yeah.
And you had to just like leave that out so that I could figure that out on my own.
Right. So what do you rate this book, Nathan?
I would rate it, what's a Game of Thrones food? How big of a sausage would you rate this?
I think,
or maybe like they drink like wine, and what's the other one, like ale?
There's like ale and there's like mead, I think.
I would do this like an ale. What's the worst of those? Mead,
personally.
Probably. Yeah,
I think
I'd give this like an ale.
I think there's like a dude, like one of Arya's friends, his name's like Hot Pie or something like that. Or
like, yeah.
And he makes like some sort of pot pie thing.
It looks like a wolf. Are you talking about that one? He like makes a bread that looks like a wolf, I think, right?
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, too. some weird pot pie thing that he makes, but like a small portion, you know.
Yeah, I would rate it. Yeah, that sounds. I think it's an apt comparison because that dude is just kind of living his life too.
Yeah,
he's just kind of walking around and found his way into baking.
Right. So
yeah.
Anyway,
it was pretty solid stuff. I mean, if you like this shit, you'll like this shit. So
probably.
So it's fun. So let's get into the pull list. Colin,
shove in your box. The pull list. What did you shove in your box? Did you go today?
I did go today.
What'd you get?
I picked up a Batman
148.
And I'm gonna catch up on Batman. I've decided. I've been subscribed to it, and I've just been buying it because I like Chip Zdarsky, but I've been reading it. But since I've organized everything, I know that I can just like read a couple Batmans every once in a while. But anyway, I also picked up Ultimates #1, but I got to the shop late and there was no A covers left, so I got a shitty cover of just like Iron Man on it. Boo. And so I'm not super happy about that.
Yeah.
And since I was only getting those two things, something else caught my eye. It's called Precious Metal by Jerry Dugan and Ian Bertram. I don't care much for Jerry Dugan stuff, but I was flipping through the comic and I was like, I have to read this because of Ian Bertram's art.
Okay. Were you aware of him, or?
I knew his name. I can't remember from what though, so I'm gonna look it up. He kind of reminds me of the dude that did Axe Wielder John. It's kind of like similar arts out of that. I'm forgetting his name now.
Nick Patera?
Yeah. Kind of like that. So
kind of like
super detailed, but like
Frank Quietly-esque.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta find what book he's been on. Hold on. He's been on some Alien, Detective Comics, some Batman Eternal, some Secret Origins, Wolverine and the X-Men.
No, like full series though.
Not ones that I've heard of.
Okay.
It was like House of Penance with Peter Tomasi with Dark Horse, Little Bird with Darcy Van Polgeest in Image.
Oh, I've seen that. That looks cool.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that, but yeah,
if you saw the cover, you'd be like, oh yeah.
I think I follow him on Twitter because he does like crazy commissions because they all look very Quietly-esque.
Yeah, so. Little Bird isn't that old.
No, that came out in like 2019, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I flipped through it because I was just like, this looks interesting, and that letterer that I follow, Hassan Otsmane Elhau, who's like the letterer for like Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees and stuff.
Sure.
I've noticed that he's on books that are kind of bangers because he has that YouTube channel, Strip Panel Naked, where he analyzes like really good books, and I think he's cool. He also has like a magazine like a comics magazine that he does.
Nice. Called
Off Panel, I believe. And I think it's cool. And so whenever I see his name on something, I'm like, oh, he likes this. So then I might like it too.
Yeah.
So I picked it up. So we'll give it a shot. Precious Metal is what it was called. And those are the three things I got. What did you get?
You didn't get My Adventures with Superman #1?
I saw that and I said nope. But I did watch oh no, I didn't. I was about to, but I forgot what happened in the last episode, so I rewatched that.
I think I was on my phone last couple episodes of that, so I might have to rewatch those to remember. So I don't think I'll pick this up. And did you get Fury #2?
No, I didn't see it on the stands.
Okay. Supposedly that came out, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So that's about it. Pretty short week or small week for me.
Yeah. Are you going to get Ultimates?
I was like told to. So if I haven't been in a couple weeks, so I'll see how my stack looks.
Okay.
And
that's
then,
fair enough.
Did you read anything new?
I did not.
I read,
unfortunately, but I've watched a lot of things and I played a new thing. So I think that's why. Well, I had to finish Game of Thrones.
Right.
I've been on a big bender.
I'm not judging, dude.
Stop judging me over there. No, I finished Game of Thrones. So I guess spoilers for that. It's fine.
I read Transformers #1.
Oh,
I think.
What?
So I downloaded the trade on like my library app. I bought all the issues of the first arc, but there isn't like it doesn't stop, it doesn't split up the issues in the trade.
Ooh, okay.
It's just all one thing. So I don't know, but like I stopped reading and it kind of felt like a stopping
There's
point.
no like issue break?
No.
Really? That's kind of weird.
That's the word I was looking for, phrase I was looking for.
Yeah.
And so it was like 40 issues or something, or 40 pages or something. So it was probably...
Yeah, first one's like a double sized.
It was probably the first issue.
Isn't it fucking awesome?
It's pretty cool. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what did you watch, Nathan?
Finished Game of Thrones. Pretty cool. I liked it overall.
Are you going to rewatch it ever?
No.
Really?
God, no.
It's way better on the second watch.
Oh, that's so much effort, though. And I didn't like I liked most of it. I didn't like most of the plot most of the time.
Who is your favorite character?
I like Sir Davos.
Okay, so
I fuck with that dude. Because he's just like, he was like serving the Baratheon and he's like, why are you fucking with this witch bitch? You know? He's like, don't do that.
He knew.
And then he learns how to read and he becomes a fucking sick reader. By the end, he's like correcting other people's grammars by the end.
Yeah.
And he like fights in that Battle of the Bastards. And I'm like, this guy's fucking raw.
Yeah.
This Davos dude. And he's like a smuggler and shit. He's just like, and he knows the Gendry dude for some reason. I forget why.
Because he needed him for something.
Was it him that put him in the King's Landing in the first place? Was it Davos that put Gendry there?
Put Gendry in King's Landing.
Because he's in King's Landing being like a smith.
Well, he like grew up doing that.
But it was Davos that put him there? Anyway, I can't remember.
No, someone put him there, like snuck him. Snuck him out.
Okay.
And when he was like a kid to like stop him from being like killed.
Okay. I also just think the dude's a really good actor. And there was a couple scenes, like especially when he was reacting to
he was in
the princess girl, like that the Baratheon one with the fucked up face.
Yeah.
When he learned that like she died, there's a scene in there that I remember was like actually being like a tearjerker for me.
Right.
I didn't cry, but I was like, that was good acting.
Yeah.
It was like, I think most of it's like really well acted, but there's only like a few scenes where I was like, that was a fucking killer scene.
Yeah.
There was like a moment with Brianna Tarth where she was like finally getting knighted and just like the look on her face, you could tell exactly what she was feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
It was like 1,000 words that she was portraying. So I was like, that's a good actor.
He was in The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's
is
like,
he good?
He's like the main character. Yeah. He's just Sir Davos on a boat.
I like his accent too. I think that's part of the reason why I like him.
Yeah.
He's in 3 Body Problem. So I want to check him out there.
A lot of people from Game of Thrones are in that.
Oh, really?
That's like
it makes sense because it's the Game of Thrones guys. But,
yeah.
And then I started House of the Dragon. I'm 2 episodes in.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool so far. I like that there's dragons. They have saddles. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then like Viserys is cool, I guess. Well, like the first episode's kind of interesting because he's like, I guess spoilers for this too, but he's wanting like a son so bad. And he's like, what's the word?
Fucking.
He's fucking to get a son. No, he's ignoring like his daughter pretty much.
Yeah.
Because it's not like a good heir.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he gets a son, he dies. And then there's like a line that, what's the girl's name? Rhaenyra?
Yeah.
She's like,
Rhaenyra.
She like says something and she's like, I hope my dad finally felt happiness for those 10 minutes or whatever that he had a son. And I was like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
What a cool line. And I like the action in it so far.
Yeah.
So pretty good. I'll probably be caught up by the time season 2 comes out. But hopefully before The Boys starts coming out. Because it's too many shows to juggle.
Yeah.
Which is in like a week. I also watched The Killer on Netflix.
Ooh, boy.
I needed a movie to watch to fall asleep to. I put it on, stayed up until 1 a.m. to finish it because I was enjoying it.
You liked it?
I did like it. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, definitely reading that like book, because it's like based off a comic.
Yeah, I could tell it's a talkative book.
No.
Like with dialogue?
There's like dialogue.
Like internal monologuing.
There's a lot of like blank pages and stuff.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
But it definitely added to my enjoyment of that one.
Oh, you read it before you saw the movie.
Right.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I think Fassbender's a really good actor.
David Fincher is like a go-to director.
Yeah, it is crazy that he kind of just came out with this one. I know there was like people talking about it at the time, but it's just like crazy that it's like one of his movies, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like a Netflix original, but it was fun. I really liked the fight scene with like that fucking beefed up Mexican dude.
I thought he was like Samoan,
whatever.
Yeah, in like the dark or whatever.
And what I really like about that is that he has like a pit bull.
And they didn't kill it.
And he didn't kill it. And I was like, he seems like he's going to kill that pit bull. But no, he just like puts sleeping pills in like some beef and has him eat that so that he could sneak in. And I was like, what a guy.
What I like about David Fincher is like he was asked about that in like an interview or something. And I think Fassbender like kind of gave like a reason why like the character didn't kill him. And then David Fincher was like, never kill the fucking dog.
Yeah, that's my boy Fincher. That's why he's the GOAT director.
Yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But no, I love that movie.
It's cool.
That was like my favorite movie last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater and I like couldn't stop thinking about it.
It's such a fun... It's fun seeing him like try and get away undetected, and he's just like dumping off like random parts of like his gun in like a trash can and then like in the lake.
Yeah.
And then he gets on like a fucking, what do they call those? Mopeds. And then he's like dumping his helmet as if like his helmet was going to give anything away.
It was crazy like how practical he was about being like an assassin. Like he thought about like every little thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And it was kind of scary like how much he was able to like get away with and like do with like kind of, you know, our modern day, you know, like,
oh yeah,
he's able to get like a fob like copier or whatever on like Amazon.
Like, that seems like a real thing.
And
like
was able to break into like a billionaire's like house pretty
like,
easily.
Yeah, by posing as like DoorDash or something.
Yeah, he like followed him to like his gym. He just got like a free trial.
Yeah, I know. All of it seemed very like practical and like could happen out like now. And so that does increase the enjoyment of it. It's like, oh, how's he gonna get past this?
What I think about a lot is that it's kind of framed as like this like revenge film kind of thing, because some people trying to kill him end up like beating up his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you think it's like, oh, I want to kill those people because they hurt my girl. But really it's like he's trying to like cover his tracks.
Yeah.
Because these people know who he is and where he lives, you know? And so he has to take them out so they don't follow him again.
It also seems like throughout the film, since he fucked up that kill, which started the whole thing in the first place, he's trying to prove to himself that he still like has it. And so the whole time he's like repeating in his head, like whatever he does before he like kills somebody. Like, and so that's kind of cool. It's interesting that like, and it's interesting that there's like an assassin organization that seems pretty easy to like topple overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't some fancy thing.
It wasn't like a John Wick.
Like he knew like enterprise. A lawyer who was like his connection and shit like that. But yeah, no, I love that movie. I've been wanting to rewatch it.
Yeah, it's fun. It was a fun movie.
And also like continue reading the books because there's a couple, and that one mostly just covers like the first trade. Yeah. What they changed about it is like there was like a target that he was like going after that they're told was some like politician or whatever. But then like it turned out that it wasn't like a politician, and the guy he was going after was just another assassin, and that assassin was tasked to kill him. Oh yeah, and it was just like
I was wondering who that dude like was, because in the movie I don't think you really find out, right?
The first guy.
Yeah.
No,
it's just like it doesn't really matter, which I kind of respect at the same time.
But that's like how that's like from his perspective, like it doesn't matter like who it is.
It doesn't matter who it is, but he finds the guy that was hired to do that. Or that he finds the guy that contracted whatever assassin company is to do it. So
yeah,
it's cool. I was gonna I planned on falling asleep to it, but as I was watching it, I was like,
I didn't think you were really ever gonna watch that movie.
I was just looking for something to watch to fall asleep to, and I'm pissed that I have to pay for Netflix. So I'm like, I gotta pick something on Netflix, and I saw The Killer, and I was like, oh yeah,
I saw ads for that everywhere in Paris. It's really cool. I'm like, I've read it.
Oh,
I know what that is.
I'm better than everybody. So that's cool.
Sweet.
What'd you watch?
I watched All Quiet on the Western Front, which is a Netflix war movie from like 2 years ago, I think. It's super similar to like 1917 because it's like a World War I movie.
Okay.
And it's like a brutal movie about like German soldiers. And so you follow like German soldiers the whole time. And it just kind of like, it's kind of
from the perspective of German soldiers.
Yeah. Oh. You follow like a guy pretty closely and it shows like the effects of war and whatnot. So it's pretty similar to other war movies.
Also before, like they weren't like Nazis yet at that time necessarily, right? So they're just like Germany.
Yeah. So this is based off a book that came out in like 1928. And this was like one of the books that was like banned and burned in like Nazi Germany.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it's very like anti-war, you know, and shows like kind of how it like demonizes like the leaders of Germany and like how they handled the war and how it really was like unnecessary that they were in it and how wasteful it was to like German lives and whatnot. It had this like weird score that was like kind of modern, like it has this like synth in it kind of thing where it's just like bwah, bwah, bwah. And it like repeats that throughout the whole movie.
That's what they were listening to in Germany at the time. They were way ahead.
And I'm like, this is kind of cool. And it just had like random like snare hits and shit. I'm like, this is really like sticking out to me. I bet this shit got like nominated. And it like won for best score that year.
When did the movie come out?
22, I think.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so it was a long fucking movie. Like I watched it on like 2 separate flights and then finished it at home kind of thing. It was like 2.5 hours.
Oh, okay.
There's this scene that I wanted to bring up where he's like playing dead and then like a guy is about to shoot him, but the guy gets like blown up or something and they like wrestle. And then like the main character like stabs like the French dude like 6 times.
Oh.
Right. And then after that, he like feels bad and tries to like take care of him. Kind of thing. Try to like apply pressure to like the 6 wounds he just like afflicted to him.
Oh fuck, bro, my bad.
This guy's like choking on his blood.
Dude, ew. Dude,
and then
stabbings in movies freak me out. And I think it's because
you would hate this movie.
I cut my thumb one time pretty bad cooking. And I remember how much it hurt. And then so now whenever I see like a scream or like anything like that has like a stabbing, it's like, like it makes me all giddy.
And so after this dude like dies, he like starts going through his pockets and is like trying to figure out his name. He like learns the dude's name. And I'm like, don't do that.
No, that's like
the worst thing.
That could only be bad for you. I know you killed a man, but
he finds a picture of like his family. He finds out that he's like a dad and has like a wife back home. And then so it's just traumatizing them like even more.
It's like, oh, he's got a cute puppy too.
Yeah. And so I kind of like learned a little bit from this movie because the French and the Germans agreed to like a ceasefire, right? And that was like the end of World War I. And it was set to happen at like 11 o'clock on a day, right? But so the Germans are like celebrating because they don't have to like, because the war is over. Basically.
What are they doing at like 10 a.m.?
What they're doing, the German leaders tell them to go back to like the trench where the French are like holding the line
and just wait it out.
And like 15 minutes before 11 o'clock, they like try and ambush them.
Oh,
yeah. And so it just kills so much more Germans.
That's crazy.
And then like some bell goes off that it's 11 o'clock and then they all like stand still and just go home.
That's game over?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And so
that happened?
Yeah. It was just this like greedy thing about like these leaders that
they just wanted
to just try and win back that land or whatever.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was just super weird. And I'm like, this is crazy that happened. Like it was over. Like they didn't have to go back out there, but they like made them.
I wonder if the guy with the bell could like ring it earlier. Like was he like just like staring at his watch? He was like ready to go.
Yeah.
His friends are dying. That's insane.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Nice. I watched Tires on Netflix.
Oh, cool. Did you like it?
I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure you know what it is, but it's like Office, but if you were like at a Jiffy Lube or something.
I told you that I watched it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I think I was recommended it from somebody else. So I forgot that you recommended it. But yeah, I haven't finished it. I think there's only like 6 episodes out or something. I watched like 4 of them.
Okay.
Pretty funny. Mainly because of Shane Gillis, just being Shane Gillis.
Yeah.
Especially since his name is Shane in the show.
Right.
But I laughed a good couple times at it. So it was fun.
I thought it was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off for most of it.
I liked when they were trying to do an upsell and they had like the 3 customers and they were writing it on the whiteboard and it's like, okay, Chinese ?
Yeah.
And it was like natural milkers or whatever they put for the MILF. And then it was like white trash. And then someone was like, what is that list? And then Shane was like, oh, it's his porn search history up there. Made me laugh.
And it was in like a glass office. I'm like, the people in the waiting room could see that.
I was like, they're clearly going to see it as soon as they go in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty funny.
And then, Nathan, I watched Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scargiver.
Did it redeem the franchise for you, Daniel? Are you all in, back in on the Snyder?
No.
Why did you watch it?
Because I thought it'd be funny.
It is kind of funny that you watched it.
I was like, I should watch like a shitty movie on this flight.
That's what I should have put on to fall fucking asleep to.
Dude, put the first one on, you'll be out. But this one's like actually better than the first one.
That's good.
Because the first one's kind of all like build up, you know, and getting the team together or whatever. The worst scene in this movie, and maybe the worst scene I've ever seen, was to kind of set it up is like space Nazi guys. They are threatening this village to get them like a bunch of grain that they can't produce and then give it to them, right?
Yep, makes sense.
And so one of their like war strategies is to like get all this grain and then put it around like the building so they don't just blow it up because they need the grain or whatever. And so there's like a 5 to 10 minute montage, slow motion montage of them harvesting grain. They have the fucking scythes or whatever, and they're just like,
oh my god,
it's so fucking dumb.
They're just farming.
Yeah, they're just farming. They're like throwing bushels of hay
slow-mo.
and
Dude,
shit.
The slow-mo fucking pissed me off.
You would rip your eyes out if you watch this.
It pissed me off during the Snyder cut. And I was like, why is there so much slow-mo? And that was like 15 minutes in. That was not even... there was so much more slow-mo to be had.
Yeah, like I expected slow-mo in like this Snyder shit, but like it's already like a long movie. Like, I mean, it's like 2 hours. But like it was just such a dumb part, you know?
I'm sure they have these, but I want to watch... I would rewatch the Snyder cut if someone makes a cut of it where they just speed up the slow-mo parts.
To where it's like normal speed?
Yeah, to where it's like normal speed. I wonder how much that would cut down the movie.
Like an hour.
I was going to say at least like 15 minutes.
Nah, probably realistically.
Realistically, yeah, but it might
from like
be more.
4 hours to like 3 hours.
It might be more, which is insane. So,
yeah.
What would you guess the Rotten Tomatoes is for Rebel Moon Part 2?
It's got to be like 15%.
Dude, you fucking nailed it.
Is it 15?
It's 15.
For critics?
For critic. What's audience? It is higher, I'll say that. But
like 39 maybe?
Ooh, it's close. 48.
48?
I think last time I quizzed you on a tomato, you nailed one of those too. It's kind of crazy.
Maybe I saw it before and it's like what I had in my head going into it. Be. But there's a couple other like dumb things.
Sure.
So there's this Asian like sword lady who's not a very good swordsman at all. Like there's nothing impressive about what she did with swords. And these were like their lightsaber ripoffs that you see, but they're just hot swords. They're like, they look like they've been like about to be forged, you know? They're just really hot.
Yeah.
And
so
I guess
just like droop down.
Yeah. And but
that'd be funny.
They have this dumb like meeting or whatever with like all the main characters, and they're just like going over their origins real quick just to give background, like oh, character development. And so like this Asian lady, she like her family was all killed and whatever, and these are like swords in their family, and the swords are connected to these like robot hands, and so she like takes the hot sword and cuts off her own hands and then puts on the robot ones. I don't know.
Cool.
But both of them. So I didn't even know she had robot hands. But she cut off perfectly good limbs to have these robot ones.
Would you do that?
No.
You wouldn't?
That's crazy.
You wouldn't right now today. You're the only one that has this. Cut off your own arm to get yourself a robot one?
If I had the arms, I'd hang on to them in case I lose my arms, you know, at exactly the right spot.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and so that was pretty dumb. The main character has like this like bob cut thing at first, but then later she has like more like my hair, and she's got like a high taper fade later, like halfway through the movie. I'm like, does this farming village have like clippers somewhere in a barber?
Yeah, barber.
Yeah, just like making sure her fade is clean.
Yeah, does she take 10 minutes to go get like a haircut somewhere?
Yeah, and it was just kind of bizarre. I'm like, and there's no reason for it. She just had a haircut now, you know?
That's cool.
And they then at the end of this movie, they like set up a third one.
Yeah, I think there's supposed to be like more than
6
one
or something.
Yeah,
in total,
more than one more for sure.
which is crazy. And I heard that there was like an hour of extra footage for each of these movies, and there might be like a 6-hour long Snyder cut. And I would need to be paid in order to watch that shit.
We should watch it.
I if you're down, I'm down. I'd be so mad if it's like
I would watch it for the first time.
Imagine it's like fire, like with the Snyder cut and the 6-hour thing.
Yeah.
And I just had to sit through like the shitty Netflix cut. And
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, the Justice League movie, I mean, I know it's a lot different because he didn't finish it. But I mean, I think his Snyder cut's better than the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But
anyway.
It is funny that he plans on doing a Snyder cut, even though he's supposed to have full creative control of this thing. So you think that the regular movie would be like final? But
I don't know. I feel like you should probably just make like a good movie at first.
Seems like the better strategy. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause
not like a 15% tomato meter.
Because sometimes there'll be a movie and then there's like a director's cut that's barely different. And then most of the time I like the normal cut anyway. Like normally. Mm-hmm. And so anyway, I wouldn't recommend it, but there's less like cringe in this where I'm like, this movie fucking sucks.
So a step in the right direction.
Yeah. You could probably skip the first one. You'll be a little confused on who the people are. I was still confused on who the people are, even though I watched the first one.
Well, they explain their origins in this one, it sounds like. So
yeah, there's like good stuff. Like there's good like CGI and like there's like some cool action, I guess. And the ships are neat, you know? So it's not all like bad.
Yeah. I played a new card game this week.
Did you play Continuity?
No.
Okay.
I haven't played that yet, but Parker, my buddy, found a card game called Star Wars Unlimited, the card game.
Okay.
And it is fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of like if Yu-Gi-Oh, but Star Wars.
Okay. If Yu-Gi-Oh.
I brought the like deck that I built just so you could look through them, but I think it's fun that like the idea of it is like you have each player has like a base with like 30 health points, and each player controls like ground units and space units. And the ground units will be like a Chewbacca or like a Princess Leia or like any like person.
Yeah.
And the space units will be like TIE fighters or X-Wings or like Millennium Falcons and stuff. And you basically need to like get rid of the ground units or the space units to attack the base.
Do I get to see the deck or no?
Yeah.
Are you gonna show me
just
something?
For like some of the cards essentially. But like each card has like an ability and a cost and points and stuff. I just think it was really unique. It was like super easy to learn. And there's like people in the era of like the original trilogy and like slightly before. So there's like a Cassian Andor card in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
He looks tired.
Yeah, he does. But there's like R2-D2, and then it goes down to like people you don't really know or just like basic units like
General Dodonna.
Yeah.
With this like hologram
and
card.
I'm like, you like really he got a card before like some of these other people? Or like there's Jawas or stormtroopers obviously, or like Cloud City guards and stuff like that. And so we got like the starter pack, which starts you with like a Luke Skywalker pack, and then there's like a Darth Vader pack. And so we played it, we liked it, and there's like booster packs that you can get, so just like additional like Pokemon card packs or Yu-Gi-Oh packs. Essentially works the same way.
Yeah.
There was nothing in Arizona for this card game except for one store that had a pack, like a box of them. And each pack is normally like 16 cards. They had a box that had 24 packs in them, and it was $200. and Parker bought it. And I had the time of my fucking life opening fucking Star Wars playing cards with him. And I was like, oh my God, look, it's fucking this dude. Isn't that crazy or whatever? And so it was just so fun. And we played the game for like 8 hours or something on Saturday.
Oh, shit.
So it was super cool. So I just wanted to show you that just because I think it's kind of cool looking at the cards and stuff. There's like a Jabba the Hutt card. There's like, random people. So we don't have all of them yet. I think there's like 160 something unique cards, but there's some cool stuff in there. And that's just the deck that I had built, which is a lot of space units, I found out. But the game's interesting.
Smoking cinders, dude.
Yeah, there's like some like spell type cards that are in there too. So it works kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there's like a Millennium Falcon in there that I think is like pretty useful. There's like tons of cool stuff in it. There's like bounty hunters, like Bosk, I believe is one of them. And so it's just kind of fun to like look at random like Star Wars things and be like, yeah, that makes sense. Or like there's like Rogue One characters in there where I'm like, this is kind of cool to have in general. And my favorite one to play was Bib Fortuna because he just looks so ugly. I think he was somewhere in that deck, but
this dude?
No.
Yeah.
He's like one of Jabba the Hutt's dudes.
Oh, the guy with the teeth?
Yeah, the guy with like the weird teeth.
Yeah.
I just think his card looks funny, but yeah. And it's kind of cool because they credit the artists on all of the art for the things on the card. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of a thing that we played. And there's
that's fun.
A next generation like card pack that's going to be Mandalorian themed and Moff Gideon themed. And it's going to include stuff from the Mandalorian, from the Book of Boba Fett, and from like the Clone Wars. So I think it's kind of cool.
When's that drop?
June 13th or July 13th.
I feel like $200 for like 24 packs of cards is like good value. It's not like it was like
it was just crazy because we literally played one game, decided we liked it, and they dropped $200. So
that's how I feel about comics, dude.
Yeah,
like, I'll read like one issue. I'm like, I love this. It's perfect.
Parker's a
get
bit
the
of
omnibus.
Parker's a bit of a Hobby Lobby like you used to be, where you'd just get really into something,
right?
You'd like latch onto it, and so I think this is kind of like that for him. But I'm having a good time watching him spend money, and and he let me keep his deck, so it's kind of cool.
Nice.
So I thought that was kind of fun.
Sweet.
And I asked my comic shop if they held these cards. He didn't know what I was talking about, but I told him they're like sold out everywhere. And he's like, oh, well, since we order cards from like a certain distributor, we might get those too. And I'm like, there's a Mandalorian pack dropping. And so he'll be my plug.
Yeah.
And I'll get some of those.
Right.
So pretty fun.
That's fun.
I recommend people play it. It's super easy to learn. I watched the YouTube video on how to play it because I didn't want to read the booklet, but it's pretty easy to learn after that.
Yeah. Anyway, then what are we going to read next week? What are we going to read next week?
I don't know. What are we going to read next week, Daniel?
Nathan, we are clear.
Are we free men?
Until
there's no Garfields coming out or anything?
No Garfields. Garfield came out already.
Yeah.
We're clear until the Eisner Awards at San Diego Comic-Con.
Ooh,
to read Eisner nominations.
Okay.
If you agree.
I am down. Which ones do we have in mind? I need to pull up the list again.
So a lot of them don't have trades out yet.
Okay.
Like,
which makes sense.
The current Wonder Woman run, Somna, Kill Your Darlings, Beneath the Trees, Birds of Prey, and Superman Lost all don't have trades for their books.
Okay.
Shazam just came out today or yesterday.
Transformers has a trade, I think, right?
Should we read that one or should we like wait until like the Transformers movie comes out?
I guess that would make sense too. There's the Cole. That's supposed to be pretty good.
That one is available, yeah.
Best limited series. Is there a Godzilla Here There Be Dragons trade?
That one is out, yeah.
I'd rather read the Cole, I think, just because I have it already in print.
I think we read a Godzilla book when...
It was the Century War or whatever, right? Half Century War?
Yeah, that was when Monarch or whatever.
Wow, that was like 40 weeks ago.
What's that book called? Or what's that show called? Is it Monarch? Or no,
the Apple one?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it is Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Let's do the Cole.
Okay.
QQ, the Cole by...
Kelly Thompson and Mattia De Lulis from Image Comics. Heard good things about this, actually. It's been a lot of been on a lot of like random lists that I saw from just like comics that have come out this year so far?
So I listened to an interview with Kelly Thompson, and this was like her Substack book.
Oh, okay.
Along with Black Cloak, which is also another nomination that she has.
Yeah, she's had like 1 billion nominations this year. So
right.
Hopefully this is like, I mean, I know it'll probably be good because it was nominated, but.
And she was saying like these are books that like she wasn't able to get like published any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And so the fact that, these Substack books like, got printed and then were nominated is like a pretty big fuck you to all the all the publishers that said no. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a pretty good story.
Which is sweet.
I mean, it sucks that she has to do that to get around all those things to be able to create those things. But I mean, at least she, I assume, has the creative control over it and like the
she'll definitely
the IP
have some like good things coming her way. I think this next year.
So that sounds cool.
Sweet. The Coal.
That's what we're reading next week.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the link tree in the bio. You can like, comment, subscribe, stuff like that. 5 stars.
Yep.
Things like that.
Let us know what you think of Game of Thrones.
What other Game of Thrones comics are there?
Are there any good ones?
Yeah.
Is this the best one?
Yeah.
I don't even know what other Game of Thrones ones.
Who's your favorite? Dunk or egg? Email us at tradewaiterspod@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we'll talk at you next week.
All right. Peace.
I bet.